Good evening, Chairman Jolly, ladies and gentlemen of the Freeholder Board, Bruce Paterson, Garwood, and I just want to note a quote from Chairman Jolly when we were giving out the $1.5 million in infrastructure grants. We wish there was more that we could do. I could have broke out laughing if I wanted. You can do more, because I've been carping about your budget and the millions in hidden money. And I was just hoping all these councilors and mayors, maybe they could have stood up and said, yeah, we want our money, $8 million, $10 million, something. But you gave $1.5 million. I mean, everybody was grateful for it. The downside to that was that they had to match the monies. And our council, when I was at the council meeting, our council was saying, well, we don't really have anything, so maybe we should pass on this grant. And that's what the sad part about matching the grants is, that the mayors and council that you are offering these grants to has to match it by raising taxes. The odd thing is we would be getting our own money back and having to raise taxes on the people to get our own money back. That makes no sense whatsoever. And I've talked to you about matching grants where you shouldn't do that at all. If you're going to offer a grant, give the towns the money. Don't have strings attached like that. Yes, you can have some programs or topics that you can put the grant towards, but don't make it matching. You know, it just doesn't make any sense. All you're doing is forcing the towns to go under a stress of trying to raise taxes more on the citizens. And you know your residents, like, you know, you raise taxes, they yell at you automatically. Here, for some reason, you just raise taxes, nobody yells. It seems like just a small handful of people come down here and yell at you. It's very strange. I mean, you know, you bury money in the budget, and then you still raise money, the taxes. I've written letters to the towns about it. I was hoping maybe they could all start pummeling it, but I guess I'm the only one that has to be yes this year. The Rawway Park, I try to stay out of it, but I mean, like, you know, I listen, and I do feel sorry for the people, and they did sign a petition. But there was a counselor from Rawway that came here one meeting, and he listed stadiums, and he mentioned Scotch Plains has a stadium, and Cranford has a stadium, and whatever other towns he mentioned. There must have been like 5 or 6 that have stadiums. And he says, I think it's time that we deserve a stadium. And that's fine. Rawway deserves a stadium, but not on Union County property. All the other stadiums that the towns have is on their town's property, not on Union County. So, I mean, like I mentioned before, you have a couple of $1 million towards the construction, give it to Rawway, let them build it on, you know, build their own stadium, then they have it on their own property, and they have their own liability, their own responsibility, and somehow the liability then wouldn't be on the Union County residents, it would be on the town that is in using the stadium. So that's my suggestion. I've made it before. Just another thing is, you know, and the other meeting, I mentioned if the freeholders actually knew the difference between operating costs and profits from a sale, and you know, raise your hand. And you didn't raise your hand, and maybe I was out of line for asking that. But I mean, you know, I didn't hear anybody really say that and did know. Freeholder Bergen then said it was rather rude, and then he said that the good thing about selling Runnels was that they were getting rid of a deficit. And that's interesting, because that just creates more question as to, do you guys even know how you fund the deficits? You fund the deficits with taxpayers' money. When you get rid of this deficit, then you have this free taxpayers' money. And this is what I'm saying. So where is this taxpayers' money that you got rid of the deficit? It was like $13 million. This is your own number. Well, guess what? The $13 million is now hidden in the budget, and you still raise taxes another $8 million. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Obviously, Freeholder Bergen doesn't know how the county works, but he'll probably be the freeholder chair next year, so it kind of makes sense in a perverse way.
Thank you very much, Speaker Ackerman. Next person wishing to speak.
Once again, I find I have to speak briefly to a comment made by Mr. Paterson, speaking about something I said last week or at our last meeting. And I resent Mr. Paterson mischaracterizing my response to him at that time and saying tonight that I didn't answer his question. But in fact, all of the questions that Mr. Paterson asked tonight were in fact addressed directly by my comments last time. I'm not going to repeat them. They are recorded as part of the meeting, but I don't think it is helpful to public discourse for a member of the public to misstate something that was said by a member of the Freehold Court, and that's all I'll say on that.